Willyfox, how you doing, sir?
Jim T. Wells, best day ever. How are you doing?
Doing good, man. Off to a decent start of the week here, if I do say so. It's looking good, man. It's looking good. I mean, despite everything, right? I'm bullish, man. We covered some great stories in the first hour, and I'm excited to get chatting about ShapeShift with you, man. What you been up to?
I'm bullish as well, man. I'm impermeable. Glad to see everyone continuing to build despite everything happening in the markets, like you said. Fundamental analysis is stronger than ever. I had a nice weekend. I got to spend some time outside. Went skateboarding while my girlfriend rollerbladed. Went to the Denver Zoo yesterday to kill the bears. It was a nice weekend. But yeah,
Right
so
on,
far
man.
the week's off to a good start.
Gotta have those things to kill the bears, am I right?
Absolutely.
Let's do that, folks. Let's put it this way. If you guys something you kill the bears with, go to One Hype TV chat here in the Discord, drop an idea, share with us what you've been up to. Maybe we'll take a vote at the end of the hour and give out some free honey. But what do you do in moments like this? I'm looking forward to going to the beach personally, man. Weather's been looking up, and I'm closer to the ocean now that I moved, last year. So I'm looking forward to that as well. Do you surf, man? I know you said you skate.
I've tried surfing one time and was not able to actually stand up. It's harder than it looks for sure, but I would love to try again and learn one day.
Hey, man,
What
right
about
on.
you?
I ain't got no skating skills, so we teach each other something one day for sure, man. Yeah,
Good deal.
let's hit it up, man. I know you want to chat a bit about ShapeShift, and maybe we could plug the website, folks. ShapeShift.io. If you haven't been there before, you should definitely go, and you can click the upper right hand corner to get to the app, right, Willie?
That's right, and we even got. Are you screen sharing or anything, T. Wells?
I am on YouTube. I got a screen share up, and people can find that link, the bit.ly link, in the event announcement here in the server. So yeah, hit me up with any links you want. We pop them over there. Do you want me to get the this? Would you like the presentation, or just I got the website up right now?
Website's good. I'm just trying to find it so I can follow along. I'm trying to find the event announcements channel.
So at the very top, it should be the event itself in the server. 1HTV DAO's new,
cool.
Yeah, and the bit.ly link I think should take you to right to YouTube. There is a bit of lag, by the way. Yeah, there's a little bit of latency, I think.
Cool. So yeah, you want me to just dive in, give a quick overview of ShapeShift?
Yeah, man, let's do it. Let's do it today. Absolutely, folks. And if you haven't, heard of them before, definitely head over to their Discord. We'll drop some links in the One Hype TV chat while Willie's presenting the project here.
Cool. So yeah, thanks everyone for joining. Happy to give an overview of ShapeShift. ShapeShift's got really awesome history and an awesome community, and really excited about what we're building and about the opportunity to share it with all of you guys today. So here's our website. You can see right now we're touting the new ShapeShift. So ShapeShift, for those of you guys who haven't heard of us, we've been around since 2014. We were initially launched by Eric Voorhees in the wake of Mt. Gox. So right after this one centralized exchange was trading about 80% of Bitcoin, and it got hacked. And people learned the hard way for the first time, really, not your keys, not your coins. So Eric had the idea to launch ShapeShift, which was the first way that you could trade crypto non-custodially from your own wallet. So rather than depositing crypto onto an exchange and trading it there, and then hopefully withdrawing it at some point, ShapeShift enabled you to trade. Initially, it was Bitcoin and Litecoin across chain with no account or KYC. And this is before DEXs, before Uniswap, and it was cross chain. So it was a really cool model. It really quickly gathered a lot of steam. A lot of wallets integrated it. So if you ever traded crypto using Exodus or Coinify or Jax, you would have, it was probably powered by ShapeShift. So that was a pretty successful model. But fast forward to 2018, the industry kind of evolved. Regulations, particularly, started to be passed, and crypto started to be treated like money. And because of that, ShapeShift came to the conclusion that in order to continue operating, we would need to start requiring KYC, play by the rules. So we made that change. It was a really big change. It was my first day at ShapeShift, actually. The whole company heard the announcement that we were going to have to implement KYC. And we had spent millions of dollars on legal bills trying to see if there was a path where we could avoid it. But unfortunately, the conclusion was that in order to continue operating, we really had no choice but to implement KYC. So we did that, and we ended up losing a lot of our users. A lot of the wallets that had integrated us for trading instead integrated competitors like Changely, who had not yet implemented KYC. And we were forced to ShapeShift. We launched a new version of ShapeShift that was really focused on hardware wallets. So particularly KeepKey, which is a hardware wallet that ShapeShift owns, but also support for Ledger and Trezor. And we were basically trying to make a really easy interface to manage your crypto on hardware wallets. And we still use the ShapeShift trading functionality to enable people to trade. And it took us until, I guess, early 2021. Basically, in 2020, we saw these DEXs emerge. And basically, DEXs like Uniswap were kind of doing the original vision of ShapeShift, enabling users to trade crypto non-custodially, even better than we were. And they weren't having to require KYC because they were decentralized. And we thought that was pretty awesome. So early 2021, we integrated 0x to aggregate all of the DEXs on Ethereum. In April 2021, we integrated Thorchain for cross-chain trading, the day that they launched mainnet. And that day, we also sunset the ShapeShift trading engine. And we stopped requiring KYC because there was no need for us to require KYC when we're just enabling users to interact with these decentralized protocols. And so that was really exciting. We're finally getting back to our roots. Once again, you can trade Bitcoin and Ethereum on ShapeShift with no KYC. And in July, this is the really exciting announcement. We announced that we were going full DAO and sunsetting the ShapeShift centralized organization. We did a big airdrop of Fox tokens to over 1 million past users and community members. And we started building out the DAO. And we're about 9 months into this journey now. So that was kind of an overview of ShapeShift history. The big focus over the past 9 months has been on this new open source version of ShapeShift that you can see right here. So if you click launch ShapeShift, we've been very focused on rebuilding the legacy version of ShapeShift in an open source fashion that's designed for decentralization. So right now, ShapeShift has a web app as well as a mobile app, and you can buy, sell, send, receive, trade, and earn yield across 11 different chains. But ShapeShift's the legacy app is centralized, right? We run the node infrastructure for it. We have a server and a database with data for all of our different users. And as a DAO, one of our first decisions was to replace that legacy centralized version with a version that's completely open source, community owned, private, free, multi-chain, and soon fully decentralized. So you can come here, you can connect MetaMask, you can create a ShapeShift native wallet, which is a lot like MetaMask, but it's cross-chain. And yeah, we're pretty close to having parity with the legacy version. So when you come in here, you can buy, sell crypto. You can see your portfolio. You can trade. You can also earn yield and deposit into any of the Yearn vaults. And we're basically really focused right now on getting all of the features necessary to basically sunset these legacy versions, the centralized versions, and migrate all of the ShapeShift users over to this new open source version. And while we're doing this, while we're focusing on getting to parity, we're also building everything out with abstraction layers. So that, for example, if you go to the DeFi page, T-Wells, you'll see all of these different Yearn vaults, as well as Foxy. And if you had a wallet besides MetaMask connected that supported Cosmos, you'd also see the ability to stake Cosmos and earn yield in your Cosmos.
So can I connect the Kepler wallet, for example?
Kepler wallet's going to be available in the next couple of weeks. That's in progress right now.
I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just curious. Yeah.
Yeah, and what we're trying to build here is a single interface that supports all the wallets, all the chains, and all the protocols. And that's something that ShapeShift has really focused on for years, right? Supporting all these different chains. We very much believe in a multi-chain future and creating the best UI UX to try and make it as easy as possible for the masses and for advanced users to do what they want to do in the crypto world, whether it's buy, sell, send, receive, trade, or earn yield on whatever wallet and whatever chain they want to do that on. So we've built this in a way, if you click on any of these, you'll see a really nice UI UX for depositing into these vaults. And for any of you DeFi power users, you know that a lot of these different, what we call single asset staking protocols, have the same exact UI UX, right? You're approving a token, you're choosing how much you want to deposit, and then you're watching your balance go up, or you're claiming rewards. So rather than like every protocol building their own UI for this and hosting it themselves, that's a big problem right now that we don't talk about a lot, but we have these awesome decentralized protocols, but oftentimes the interfaces to these decentralized protocols are centralized themselves. And that's a big liability for these teams. Oftentimes you see more and more of these interfaces blocking US users and requiring that you check a box and say you're not in the US or use a VPN. And oftentimes, someone's hosting these interfaces, and it's probably a core member of the team. And that's a big risk for that team member. And it's a risk for the users and for decentralization, because if this interface can be centralized, then a lot of people won't be able to actually interact with it. So at ShapeShift, we're trying to build the best UI UX we can for these common DeFi categories. So things like single asset staking, liquidity providing, farming, even bonding, lending and borrowing. A lot of these UI UXs look the exact same across categories, or very similar. And we can build one UI UX that handles all the different nuances and makes it very easy for protocols to actually come add themselves. That was something that we realized at ShapeShift before, when we were closed source and centralized, was that there's a lot of awesome protocols out there. And it's not clear which protocol is going to win. There's new improvements always coming out. And instead of trying to pick a single protocol to win, it makes a lot of sense to just aggregate all these protocols and create one UI UX in one interface where users can come and see the best opportunities for the assets they hold across protocols and really across chains. And that doesn't exist yet, and it's a lot of work. And if we try to build that all ourselves internally, we're limited by the bandwidth of our own internal resources. But if we can create an open source interface and these abstraction layers so that it's very easy for projects to come add themselves, or if they prefer, just put up a bounty and have community developers come at it, that could be the only way to actually support this rapidly growing number of protocols.
Yeah, no, I know, and it's.
So I've talked for a lot. Yeah, any questions so far, too?
Well, I just want to make sure people know. So if you go either to shapeshift.io or you go app.shapeshift.io, you'll connect your wallet. You can connect with MetaMask, as Willie mentioned. And right now you got access. If you're using Ethereum, we have access to mainnet earning through Urine vaults, correct? And then is there a specific wallet that is integrated for Cosmos? I know I asked about Kepler, but is there another? What is the best way to connect now?
Right now for Cosmos, you can use ShapeShift native wallet for Kiki. And then Kepler wallet's coming, XDeFi wallet is coming, Tally wallet's coming. Right now we're working on all these wallets in tandem, and also Wallet Connect support. So in a couple of weeks, we're releasing support for a lot more wallets. And then kind of the hope from there is that wallets will come add themselves or put the bounty up for the community to integrate them.
Sweet. And if people want to, they have some capital on mainnet and they want to use the app, or maybe they have some Fox tokens already, share a little bit about Foxy. I know this is something that's, it launched a couple of weeks back, but if people haven't heard about it, it's a pretty cool project.
Yes, Foxy is awesome. So you can stake Fox right now. This is provided by ShapeShift. Foxy is a new kind of protocol that we launched, and I see it as a really elegant evolution to traditional token staking contracts, like X Sushi, for example. So X Sushi is a contract where you can stake your sushi, and then you get a share of protocol revenues. So every swap that happens on SushiSwap, 0.05% of that goes towards buying sushi and rewarding sushi stakers. And that's pretty cool. And I love models where governance tokens enable token holders to actually share in the revenues generated by the protocol. And so that's what Foxy is primarily. Foxy is the main way that the ShapeShift DAO can share revenues that it generates with token holders. But it's a really nice evolution over the traditional kind of V1 staking contracts. So first of all, Foxy is a rebasing token. So you deposit Fox, you get Foxy. Foxy is always backed 1-to-1 by Fox. And every week, as revenues are added to the Foxy contract, the token rebases. So your balance goes up. You get to see your Foxy balance go up without any action or gas cost on your end. And then it's always backed 1-to-1 by Fox. So you can unstake your Foxy for Fox. There is a fee to do it instantly, but you can get it in 7 days for no fee if you request a withdrawal. And the reason for this is that the tokens, when you stake your Fox, are not just sitting there idly doing nothing. Right now, basically the cool thing about Foxy is that the tokens that are deposited and staked in there can be deployed into DeFi strategies, both to boost yield for the stakers and also to support Fox and support the Fox economy. So right now, the strategy that we're using is the tokamak Fox reactor. So when you deposit Fox, you get Foxy. The staked Fox gets deposited into the tokamak reactor to generate yield. Right now, there's a 10% yield on the Fox token reactor. And tokamak actually then takes the Fox deposit into the Fox token reactor and deploys it to dexes like Uniswap paired with ETH. So it's a great way to deepen Fox liquidity at no ongoing cost to the DAO, and it boosts the yield for the token stakers.
That's really cool. So in other words, if you're participating in this, in the Foxy and staking Fox through the app, in part, you're obviously earning, you are earning yield, or Foxy is a yield bearing token, right? But you are also contributing indirectly to deeper liquidity for the for the token across. Well, it sounds like on Uniswap through tokamak.
Exactly, which is pretty cool
compared
to cool. Just traditional token staking contracts where all the tokens are sitting there idly doing nothing. Obviously, that's opportunity for improvement whenever you have tokens sitting idly doing nothing.
Well, and the withdrawal mechanic is really cool to me. I just always like having customizable options. And yeah, I mean, in a world where people are often only have one, right? It's you either locking for a long time or there's just an automatic withdrawal fee. Yeah, that sort of the ability to toggle is really cool.
Agreed. It's nice to have the optionality. And that fee's a little bit high right now. We're working on a V2 of Foxy right now that will enable us to decrease that. Without going into too much details, it's we're integrating Elastic Swap, which is the first DEX that supports rebasing tokens. So right now, rebasing tokens have, in some ways, like a bad rep because there haven't been any hugely successful rebasing tokens, or I guess tokens that have been able to sustain their success. There's also a lot of limitations with rebasing tokens, and I think one of those primary limitations is that you haven't been able to provide liquidity for rebasing tokens natively on DEXs. If you look at Uniswap stocks, they say do not create a liquidity pool with rebasing tokens because stuff will break. Elastic Swap was the first DEX to solve that. They're launching on Ethereum mainnet imminently, and we're integrating them into the contracts to enable basically swapping Foxy for Fox through Elastic Swap, which will enable us to decrease that instant withdrawal fee.
Got it. Very cool.
Yeah, lots more coming with Foxy. It's pretty cool though. It's like the first, our primary vision and mission here is to build the ultimate interface to the decentralized universe, and not necessarily compete on the protocol level, but rather aggregate protocols and focus on the decentralized interface. But we're a DAO, and the community can prioritize anything. And Foxy was actually an idea that came from Eric Voorhees, and he put up a bounty out of his own pocket to get it built. So yeah, we're mainly focused on the interface level, but we certainly can build protocols when the community has a cool idea for one. And yeah, this ended up being a really great project that aligned with is something that we need. It's helping to bring users to the ShapeShift interface, which is awesome. But we have some big plans for it, and I can't say too much, so stay tuned. But yeah, there's a lot more coming with Foxy and with yieldies. We call it kind of the category of these new rebasing yield bearing tokens. Yieldies, and we got some exciting stuff coming soon.
Right. Well, I know that there's always a lot of great action. I mean, one of the things that sort of pulled me into ShapeShift at the end of last year was just how much governance activity there's been. And every DAO goes through different phases, but do you want to share a little bit more on the product roadmap, or what would you like to hit up? And we could talk about any number of things here. I do have the slides if you want me to toss those up.
Yeah, and in 1 second, talk about the roadmap. Always cool to look at where we're going. One final thing I want to point out that I think is really cool while we're on the app is the fact that all of these things are free. So any of these yield generating opportunities don't cost users any extra to use through ShapeShift. You can trade and it doesn't cost you any extra through ShapeShift. And contrast that with MetaMask, where they're adding a 0.875% swap fee on every swap in MetaMask, which I think is like so ridiculous and honestly pretty lame. And it's more than these protocols charge. So
Willie, we're just ripping on him.
Cool model.
You heard me ripping on him earlier.
I didn't even hear that, but yeah, I mean, MetaMask, kudos to them. They've provided a lot, but I hope that MetaMask isn't like the ultimate interface to the decentralized universe. And we can talk about that. Why not on the product roadmap slide? But
with those fees, they need a better UI, brother.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like a freaking mock-up or wireframes. But yeah, so ShapeShift, we have a model where it doesn't cost anything. We don't ever add any fees on top of decentralized protocols. But we have affiliate revenues. So when you deposit into Yearn vaults on ShapeShift, the DAO earns revenues. Right now with trading, that's one that we're not monetizing yet, but we're working on an integration with CowSwap and affiliate revenues there. So when you trade, you'll get the best rates, won't cost you any extra, but the DAO will generate revenues. Same where if you buy or sell crypto, we have affiliate revenues there as well. And I think that's just an awesome model. It basically, as a user, it enables you to support public goods because everything we're building is open source, free, community owned, and it doesn't cost you any extra. And I think that's a pretty powerful model. And one of the things I'm really excited about is rewarding users with Fox. This is something we used to do at centralized ShapeShift. We need to rebuild those Fox reward systems in a decentralized fashion. And we have a pretty clear idea for how to do that. Right now, we're really focused on just building a really awesome product that is the best in and of itself, just in terms of the features it provides in the UI UX. But one thing that we're really, we're all about making this community owned. And one thing I'm excited about is basically rewarding users who complete revenue generating activities through ShapeShift. So who generate revenue for the DAO by doing things like trading, buying, selling crypto, or earning yield with Fox tokens. So that we can not only be the best in terms of the functionality we offer in the UI UX, but we can objectively be the best in the sense of on the bottom line. It's basically it would cost you more in terms of the opportunity cost to interact directly with these protocols from your own node on chain than to use them through ShapeShift, because you'd be giving up on that Fox that you'd be earning by using them through ShapeShift. So I think this is our best chance at basically beating MetaMask. I think that those network effects that we can establish, and we could try to undercut them on fees and race them to the bottom and say, oh, we're going to charge 0.855% or 0.845%, but that's just a race to the bottom. And I think instead, if we can front run that race and be free is very powerful. And even better than free, it's like we can actually reward you for using ShapeShift, and reward people who refer people to ShapeShift with ownership of this app. I think that's our best hope for basically building an alternative to MetaMask and beating MetaMask. And that now's a good time to segue into the product roadmap, and we can talk about kind of our full vision here. But I'm really excited about that model, and basically, rewarding users and making this a truly community owned project as opposed to one owned by JP Morgan.
This is the goal, is it not? I think, I can tell, the sort of commitment to the decentralized ethos is important. Even if, trickles, anybody you're talking to in ShapeShift, I think has a similar set of priorities, which is cool. And I just put up on the screen here, I pulled one of the slides that has, it's a really cool column comparison where you have like the different features and comparing ShapeShift with Zapper and MetaMask and all those. But is there a certain slide you like to start on? I can kind of pull them. It's a little tricky dance here because I can't like quite do share screen. Otherwise the resolution will be all messed up. But where would you like to start, man?
Let's go to the solution slide. And that talks about kind of all the principles that we think that the ultimate decentralized interface should have. So we're thinking from first principles. We've got an awesome community. We've got a solid treasury and runway to build. So it's like, what's the best thing we can build? And personally, I can't think of anything more valuable than this ultimate decentralized interface to the decentralized universe. There's so many awesome protocols out there. I love HoneySwap. I love everything OneHive's doing. I love Giveth. I love all these different protocols. But in order to really achieve this future that we're all building towards, this amazing decentralized future, we need decentralized interfaces. And I think ShapeShift is in a really great position to provide that, because if we go to the solution slide, you can see kind of what the things that we think that the ultimate interface should include.
It should queue up in just a second.
You have
here.
that slide?
Yeah, there it is.
Perfect. Awesome. So yeah, so we think the ultimate interface of the decentralized universe should satisfy each of the following. It should be non-custodial, and not just non-custodial, but multi-wallet, right? Like I love Ledger Live, but I don't ever think Ledger Live is going to be the ultimate interface, because it only supports ledgers, right? Multi-chain is something we've always believed in at ShapeShift. Like I love MetaMask, I love Zapper, but they're Ethereum only, and there's more happening in the decentralized world than on Ethereum. And ultimately, I love Ethereum. Ethereum is my favorite chain and my favorite community. But at the end of the day, whichever chain ultimately solves these problems and has this Turing complete platform where we can launch decentralized protocols that are secure and unstoppable and trustless and immutable and accessible at a cost that people can actually interact with, like we're happy, right? And if that's happening on multiple chains, that's fine, right? But people should have the option, and they should have access to all these different chains that they want to interact on. Open source, this one's, I think, a must-have, and not only because the ultimate interface should be open source, but I think it must be open source, just again in order to integrate the long tail, all of these different decentralized protocols. It's too hard to do that with a closed source project, and if you are doing it with a closed source project, it's going to be very expensive to fund all that development. Community owned. We have the ability for this interface to be owned by the community, by its users, as opposed to privately owned. And so I think it's a given that it should be. And again, you get some really powerful benefits from that when you have a community of owners who are aligned with the success of the project. That's something that's very powerful and hard for a privately owned project to compete with. Decentralized. Again, this one is very difficult, but both the front end itself should be decentralized and stored on things like IPFS, so that anyone can access the front end, and using things like ENS, decentralized routing services, so that it cannot be censored or stopped. And free. This is the one that I am very passionate about, and it is a very powerful attribute. And even better than free, ideally, this interface will reward you with ownership for the value that you provide to it as a user. So this is what we're building. And it's going to take some time, but we're well on our way towards it. We've got an awesome community of builders, and we got some awesome processes. Just the DAO itself right now is running like a pretty well-oiled machine, or there's of course always room for improvement. And one of the cool things about the DAO is that if anyone's got an idea for how we can DAO it better, they're encouraged to share those ideas and execute on them. But yeah, you mentioned our governance process is going well. We also have a really cool organizational structure. If you want to pull up shapeshift.com/careers, we can show this org structure that's enabled us to work really productively and efficiently at scale. And yeah, the fact that we're open source now, we were the top project consistently on Gitcoin for bounties. So we're putting up new engineering bounties every day. And there's a community of developers that basically have become familiar with ShapeShift's code base, and they know that there's going to be new bounty opportunities for them regularly. We're actually now switching over to DWork for bounties though. So we love Gitcoin. We're trying out DWork because it's got some really awesome features. And if anyone's following the screen right now, this is basically that revenue model that we talked about earlier. So we have not yet implemented the bottom left portion where the users will earn Fox for the value they add, but the other part is in place right now, and there's a growing number of revenue streams live and that we're adding this year that enable you to basically use ShapeShift for free, but still generate revenue for the DAO that goes towards funding further development of these open source public goods. Awesome. So I see you're on the careers page.
Yeah, we're on there now. Okay.
That's awesome. We got an image of the organizational structure. This has been pretty cool. It's something that we figured out that we realized we would need right before we launched this DAO in July. It's like how, if we have, let's say, 40 plus contributors that we expect to migrate from centralized ShapeShift to the DAO, how are we actually going to, get people paid and get work done without completely overwhelming our governance process? And so, for when DAOs first start out and you have a small handful of contributors, having a flat organization makes a lot of sense, right? You don't necessarily need titles. And if you have a proposal every month to pay everybody, that's not overwhelming by any means. But then as you scale to, let's say 40, 50 contributors, you can imagine that if you had a single proposal to pay everybody or proposals to pay each individual, it'd be very overwhelming for governance participants. And it would, it can really, if you have that, it can really ruin your governance process, right? If you get to a point where the majority of the proposals that are coming through aren't really relevant to the token holders, and we had a lot of Fox token holders, you can break your governance. So we basically implemented this organizational structure. We kind of gifted it to the community when we launched the DAO, and we said, here's a proposed organizational structure that you're welcome to use. But again, if anyone has a better idea for how to just organize yourselves, let's hear it. But so far, this has worked really well. So we are using Colony on Gnosis Chain, and we actually just transferred over this month's budget this morning. So we do one transfer from mainnet each month with all of the work streams budgets. And then each of these work streams has made proposals to the community to fund their work stream. Typically, the first proposals are for like 4 months, and then once they've established some credibility and a good reputation, they'll do proposals for 6-month budgets. And once the community approves a work stream's budget proposal, then basically the work stream is kind of like a sub DAO that can operate autonomously and allocate their budget however that work stream best sees fit to achieve the goals that they've proposed to the community. So there's no extra proposals required every time these work streams want to spend funds. And that enables them to move very quickly. And again, they're totally independent. They can use their budgets however they best see fit to achieve their vision and their mission, whether that's hiring full-time contributors or putting up bounties, or even working with like an agency. All of that's on the table, and we really defer to the community or to the work streams. And as long as the work streams are doing a good job, then they can continue getting funded. And if they're not doing a good job, then ultimately the community is still in charge, and they can make follow-on proposals to adjust a budget to replace a work stream leader, or even like in an extreme scenario, they could cancel a work stream if they really felt like that was the best move.
And so, like, in your experience also, I know you fold in Coordinate as well at most work streams, right?
Yeah. And again, that's a perfect example for if a work stream wants to use Coordinate, they have that tool available to them. If not, they aren't required to.
Right. I tell you, whoever cracks the nut on Coordinate distro automation, I will let's have you on the show. I'm waiting. Billy,
I heard there's a Coordinate Colony integration coming up, so you can just basically export that's payment spreadsheet right into Colony and create the motions. Looking forward to that.
See, those of us who are on the operations side, there are always people got ideas to make life easier for us, and I'm excited for that. That's really cool. Just did our distro this morning, actually, for the TV team. Yeah, I enjoy Coordinate. I say in general, I think the outcomes have been, surprisingly on point. I'll say that's from our personal perspective, but
yeah, Coordinate is a super cool tool. But yeah, it's just the that layer for figuring out how to allocate stuff. So yeah, you need something like Gnosis Day or Colony to actually manage the treasury and distribute the payments.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's of course do a little pitch for gardens and some of the work that they're doing with osmotic funding. In other words, the integration of almost, if you imagine, like once a work stream's funding is secured, then rather than like a budget for a certain period of time, you would have like a certain volume, say, of whatever the token is that's streamed to their wallet address that can then stream down to the contributor levels. And the idea being there that they're like those streams, say, coming from the common pool in OneHive's case, or from the existing cache of stable coins or whatever the resource pool is that's being used, the community can, like, once the streams are in place, then the communities can like shift or modulate them over time. So it creates this effect where the traditional like period-based quarterly funding requests, those would hypothetically go away, but you could see some interesting like fluid changes based on performance and how the community feels. I dig all the sort of nerdy like experimentation at the governance level and flows.
Same. We're still super early, and yeah, we're here for it all. So we were having conversations just this past week around like our governance model, and some people are interested in like some more democratic, less plutocratic governance methodologies, and we're talking about how the challenges with that until civil resistance is solved. But definitely excited for that, and I think like we were talking about potentially implementing quadratic voting once civil resistance is solved, so that we can level the playing field a bit out with the whales.
Yeah. Yeah, right on. I mean, I think that it's always good. Like, there's no one size fits all model, right? So whatever, I'm for experimentation and just like adaptation. It's very cool, man. I did drop, folks, for people who are with us on the server here. Copy of the image you see on screen on YouTube is also there. Just a PDF of the hierarchy, or I'm sorry, the framework for the shifting from a hierarchy to a decentralized, work stream structure, the ShapeShift DAO. If you want to take a look, folks.
Thanks, T. Wells. Another thing we should probably talk about for a bit is Fox Chain.
Yeah, let's do it, man.
I think there might be some slides for that in the proposal. But yeah, so we talked about obviously one of the big goals for ShapeShift DAO is to create an interface to this decentralized universe that is decentralized itself. The first part of that is decentralized in the front end, and that's pretty straightforward. It's a little bit trickier for us because our client stores keys with the ShapeShift native wallet. So there's some additional security implications that we need to be careful with. But that's all getting worked on right now, and soon you'll be able to access the UI in a decentralized fashion. But then the next piece is the backend, and decentralizing the blockchain data, access to the blockchain data that the ShapeShift app needs to run, because basically this new version that we're building, all it is an interface between users' keys and these blockchains. We don't have any kind of database that we're hosting ourselves that stores any additional information. Any other information that would be stored would just be stored on the client side. So ShapeShift historically has been running nodes for all the different chains that we support ourselves, and we understand how much work that is. And what we're working on right now is Fox Chain. It's in the early stages of development, and Fox Chain, TLDR, it's a decentralized network that incentivizes node operators to run nodes for each of the blockchains that we support and provide that blockchain data to clients directly. Basically, you can think of Fox Chain as kind of like a decentralized Infura. So right now, if you are it's not only necessary for ShapeShift's app to be decentralized, but really for any DApp that wants to actually be decentralized and not run the nodes themselves or rely on a centralized third party to provide that blockchain data. They could also plug into Fox Chain and basically both make requests. The client can make requests for any of the blockchain data that they need, and can also broadcast transactions to any of the chains that we support. And we're working on this with Coinbase Cloud, which is pretty cool. Coinbase Cloud has been awesome, and basically approached us and heard about Fox Chain and had some ideas for how they could support. And they've been very supportive. So we're working with them right now on the design, the architecture of Fox Chain. They're going to be working with us on actually building it out. And once Fox Chain launches, they're going to be running validators and helping to operate Fox Chain. So something that we're really excited about, and again, something that we need ourselves for ShapeShift to be decentralized, but something that we're hopeful will be useful to other dApps that also want to be decentralized themselves.
Dope, man. Yeah, I'm going to get
So lots happening in ShapeShift, man. Yeah.
I'll share the link, folks. We got to update the video. We had a quick turn on some edits there, but we got a summative video, I guess, on Fox Chain. It's a good intro, and you get to hear Willy and some other folks from ShapeShift DAO, as well as the Coinbase team in an AMA, which it's been quite a while since it's been passed, but this is a huge undertaking. So I think listening in, I'll share the video link once it's posted, and you all should definitely check it out. I think that this is, so just so we're clear, right? ShapeShift DAO will be launching its own Cosmos-based blockchain, right? To not only host your own products, but also other. It will be a permissionless chain, right? So people could hypothetically come build on Fox Chain, right, Willy?
Absolutely. People can add new chains to Fox Chain, which is pretty cool. You can think about like a new blockchain either trying to decide whether they want to build like their own decentralized Infura, or whether they want everyone to have to run nodes in order to build on their chain, or they can add themselves to Fox Chain, and potentially even run their own nodes for Fox Chain and actually get paid to do it. So something like Fox Chain really needs to exist. There are some other cool projects that are working on different approaches to this. I think Pocket Network is probably the top project right now. And we looked at Pocket Network as a potential solution for ourselves, but we found that it didn't actually solve our own needs. And Fox Chain is a very different approach to solving a similar problem. So yeah, we're really excited about it. We've got an awesome team working on it. Michael Perkland is the workstream leader for this, and he was the former chief information and security officer at ShapeShift. He's been in the space for, I don't know, I want to say since like 2012, very, very early days. And yeah, the Coinbase Cloud team has been really supportive as well. So if you're interested in Fox Chain too, we're always looking for more contributors. It's a big challenge. It's going to take some time, but it's an exciting and important challenge. And I can't think of a better team to be working on it.
Word, folks. And if you're joining us here in the Discord, I dropped a link to the ShapeShift server. If you're not over there, you definitely should hop over to their Discord. They got stuff going on all the time. You'll have, these sort of public meetings on a regular schedule to keep things transparent. So if you're just interested in learning more, or if you are listening and you're like, oh, I'd like to try to find a way to plug in with some technical skills of some kind, definitely head over to their Discord and get started. Is there a specific part, like a place that you would direct people, or where there's a specific amount of action right now, aside from obviously just dropping in Gen Chat and all that? But is there a specific spot in the Discord you might direct people, Willie?
Yeah, the Discord's popping 24/7. Also, if English isn't your native language, we've got some awesome communities that speak other languages. I think our strongest right now are our Portuguese community and our Korean community. So definitely encourage people to jump in and get involved. We've got meetings every day in the public meetings in the Discord. So if you're interested in a particular work stream, I would check out our calendar to see when that work stream's next office hours are. Or for engineers, we have daily stand-ups that you can attend. We also do engineering demos every other Wednesday. So this Wednesday, engineers will be demoing their progress from the past 2 weeks. Those meetings are always really fun. And yeah, if you check out the shapeshift.com/careers, you can see any open positions we have, as well as links to the various bounties that we have available. Lots of opportunities to get involved, and it's a great community. So I really think ShapeShift is one of the best communities to join if you are interested in getting more involved with Web3 and crypto. We've got so many great people with a wealth of experience that are happy to teach. So it's a great place to learn, and there's just so much opportunity to get involved and start earning some crypto.
Hell yeah. And are you going to Permissionless, you said? So you headed to conference?
Yeah, looking forward to seeing you guys in Miami at the beach next week, or I guess Palm Beach, Florida.
Are you going to be speaking down there?
Are you going to be there too, Will?
I will not be. Not this time, man. No, unfortunately not. But you going to be up on stage?
I am not going to be speaking this year. I didn't apply or anything. But I did just get my speaker application in this weekend for ETH Barcelona. So hope to see you guys there too.
Are you going to do the ETH Barcelona, ETHCC, spend some time in Europe this summer, you think?
I haven't settled on ETHCC yet, but it was awesome last year, and I would love to make it again this year. So fingers crossed.
What would you say is the difference?
It's hard to make it to all these conferences and build at the same time.
Well, there's so much exciting stuff going on in Europe. I was like, trying to get my passport rush. We'll see. Because I haven't, with COVID and everything, I think my passport might have lapsed a year ago. Anyways, so, but yeah, I heard that there was like the vibe, obviously. So tell me if I'm wrong here, but Barcelona, at least talking to Edu, is a little more like technical driven, like more developer, like a larger proportion of the attendees are developer oriented, rather than CC was a little bit more like ETH Denverish, where you kind of get a mix of different sorts of people there. Would you say there's a different flavor? Like if people are living in Europe, I know there's some one-hivers that are over there and they're thinking about going and they can only go to one. How would you advise them between CC and Barcelona?
Yeah, great question. I think you're right. I think ETHCC they try to position it as more of like the community conference as opposed to just a hackathon. And I haven't been to ETH Barcelona yet, but yeah, I could see it being a little bit more builder focused than ETHCC, just because ETHCC has that community focus. I've also seen that ETH Barcelona has a lot of like public goods, solar punk vibes, and I'm a big fan of that movement. So couldn't miss that one.
Oh yeah, man. Well, I encourage you folks to check out the website here, ShapeShift.io. Head over to their app as well. And yeah, there's a lot of cool features that are going to be coming out in the near future. And if you're interested in learning a little bit more about those, definitely head over to their Discord. If you are on Gnosis Chain, you can get Fox on Gnosis Chain. Is that an integration you're looking forward to in the relatively near future for the app, Willie?
Yes, it's in progress right now. And we're a little bit behind on the EVM abstraction. So right now, the only EVM network you can use on ShapeShift is Ethereum mainnet. But it's a top priority, and we're looking forward to supporting all the EVMs very soon, and then soon after that, supporting bridges to enable users to easily bridge between these EVMs. And Gnosis Chain is definitely one of the top EVMs on our priority list. So that's one that I'm personally very excited about.
Sweet. Well, I also got to plug the Honeyfox farm on the Regen farms there. I'm gonna see if I can get up on screen here. We talked a little about this last week, folks, but if you're a Fox Honey holder, if you're on Gnosis Chain, you have some great farming opportunities there.
Yes, it's like a perfect three-way DAO to DAO collaboration with Giveth and OneHive and ShapeShift. So yeah, it's a great farm, and you can deposit Fox and Honey on HoneySwap and then stake it in the Giveth Regen farm to earn Fox rewards, and you can earn a Fox stream. And I think the APR is over 100% right now. So get it while the getting's good. It's a great pool to dive into.
Awesome, Willie. Is there anything else you want to touch on today? We can call it a wrap. Or if there's anything else you want to plug, man.
I think we've given a pretty comprehensive overview of ShapeShift. I could talk a little bit more about the specific next features that we're adding, but I think you guys have a pretty good idea. Ultimately, we're really trying to integrate all the wallets, all the chains, and all the protocols. And if you, as a community member, have a suggestion or a request on a chain or a protocol that you'd like to see soon, we'd love to hear it. Or if you'd like to get involved and help us work towards this mission, please jump in our Discord, introduce yourself, and we'd love to see how we can get you involved and get you some Fox tokens.
Right on, peeps. Well, I want to say GM again to everybody who is tuned in today and heard about ShapeShift here. If you have a chance, also ShapeShift at ShapeShift, I believe the Twitter, right? It recently changed. I just want to plug that too. Is it IO still, or is it just ShapeShift?
The DAO acquired the at ShapeShift handle.
That's right.
Centralized ShapeShift was never able to do.
There we go. At ShapeShift here on Twitter. Well, we'll have to have you back soon, man. I'd love to do a panel on on Regen, and maybe if you come back from permissionless, if you have some time to join us again, it'd be great, Willie, as always. And I've floated the idea too. We need to get trivia back, so I think we might do a live trivia event at some point next month in June. And ShapeShift was the very first sponsor of that fun event, so we'll have to collab in the near future and bring the people some Fox Honey.
Yeah, that sounds great. Would love to do more stuff with you guys. Love the OneHive crew.
Right on, Willie. Well, have a great rest of your week, man. It's always great to have you, and I appreciate you.
Appreciate you too, T-Balls. GM, everybody.
GM, Willie. And GM to everybody. Once again, onehive.org, app.honeyswap.org, on Gnosis Chain. Head over to ShapeShift. .io if you want to learn more about their project, and appreciate everybody for joining us here in the Discord and on YouTube. We'll do one last plug there. If you're in the Discord server right now, if you look at the event that's currently going on, upper left hand corner, happening now, 1HTV DAO News Alpha, there is a bit.ly link beneath that. Click on that link, it'll take you to 1HTV on YouTube. Subscribe, hit the bell button, you'll get notifications when we go live. We are posting like highlight content over on the original OneHive YouTube channel. We're going to be cross-posting both. So you'll be able to watch back just this segment on ShapeShift. We'll get some good highlights for you all as well. Have a good rest of the week, folks. And we will see you next Monday. Don't forget, tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern, we got Billy Jitsu coming on, late night show, earmuffs, or just after the kids have gone to sleep. And then Wednesday, we got NFTs and gaming with Dash and Solar at 3 p.m. Eastern. Definitely check them out. Mark your calendars. We'll put an event notification here in the OneHive Discord server, and we will talk to you all soon. Be well. Stay bullish, folks.